Thank you, Amit. That was very insightful and really informative. Now, before I go to the details of the panel discussion, let me take few questions which are there in the chat box, because otherwise there are few questions we can put up to the respective speakers. I think, will you all be able to have a look, or should I point out? One of the question which has come for everyone, I mean, anybody can take. For zinc application in batteries, how do you see its prospect compared to lead acid and lithium ion batteries in India? Will it be addressed further in your upcoming events, like in battery events webinar in Q3, Q4? Yes, we will be taking up, but I think here Mr. Pook can add in a little light on this question. We will be taking up these matters in the upcoming webinars as well. Yes, Mr. Pook? You're mute. Can you just unmute yourself?
Yeah. In my presentation, I did mention that the zinc dry cell battery, AA, AAA, etc. I was telling, it's a common man's product, right? Now, lead battery for car, energy storage, inverter, everywhere. But this is something even the rural folk, for a battery, for a torch light, or for any charger, or for any remote, etc., or for toys, etc. This is something which you see across everywhere, every red every battery, etc. So this is a huge volume everybody is making, and also Panasonic, they are importing rather, and Sony battery also is imported. It's such a common material, common energy material, energy source, wide applications. Yeah.
So Madhvi is another participant who has proposed a question on similar grounds. So I think Madhvi, this point is answered, so I need not repeat it. The next question is, I think, for Mr. Chandrasekharji. How critical is dollar movement in shaping metal pricing today? Unmute. You're on the mute.
Dollar value and the exchange rate is a very critical driver of metal prices, particularly where large amounts of imports and exports both are involved. Personally speaking, of course, I don't hold any trading position, but I'm somewhat bullish on the dollar. I expect the dollar index to stay between 98 and 102, which obviously a dollar will remain relatively strong, and that would make emerging market currencies relatively weak, and for that the impact of the currency on the metals market, which is very important. This is number one. But second, look at China. China is forcing some kind of de-dollarization. They want more and more countries to buy crude oil from Iran, and they are asking the importing countries to pay in yuan, in Chinese currency, and therefore, if Chinese currencies were to make further inroads into international trade, of course that will become a small setback for the dollar. But I don't see this de-dollarization moving rapidly ahead anytime soon. We are still several years away. And therefore, the point is, yes, the strength or weakness of the dollar will certainly have a bearing on the import and export prices.
Thank you. Next question, I will put it up for Rana. How is the current zinc ingot import scenario in India, and what are the key drivers supporting import demand? Mr. Rana?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, India's zinc ingot imports have seen a significant rise recently, increasing by about 26% year on year to roughly 250,000 tons. A major share is coming from South Korea, contributing over 60%, followed by Japan and Singapore. Regionally, Western India is the key hub, accounting for nearly 150,000 tons of imports, largely driven by strong galvanizing demand. The key drivers are quite structural in nature. First, rising coated steel and galvanizing capacity from players like AMNS, Tata Steel, and Jindal Steel. Second, some tightness in domestic zinc availability refined. And third, favorable import parity at times. Given these factors, imports are likely to remain an important balancing factor in the near term.
Okay.
That's
Vinaji,
Yes,
give me a minute.
sure.
The zinc import figures which Ronak was mentioning, many of these continuous sheet galvanizers, JSW, Tata Steel, SAIL, ArcelorMittal, they're exporting galvanized steel sheets. They're
Okay.
exporting color-coated steel sheets. Now,
Yes.
again, those export, they get a duty-free advance import license. You
Yes.
understand? They get a benefit because you are exporting, you get a duty-free import license. They
Yeah.
import the zinc and they use it in the continuous galvanizing line. That's the reason. More export of galvanized sheet, more
Import incentive.
duty free
duty
import.
free.
Otherwise, eight
That's
lakh
interesting.
50,000 ton we are producing here.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Chandrasekhar, you
Yeah,
had
one
something?
sec. Yeah, I think for the benefit of participants, I must mention, and I want to draw the attention of the participants to the European Union CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, which actually seeks to restrict products imports into the European Union, which have high levels of emission, carbon emission. And therefore, the steel and aluminium are products which are targeted majorly by the European Union. They want the producing countries and the exporting countries to lower the carbon emission. And therefore, even in case of steel, galvanized steel, which uses zinc, I think they have to be the exporters of these products to the European Union have got to be careful
That's true.
because of the penalty and the tax implication in terms of this carbon border adjustment mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a very fancy term, CBAM, but actually it's a tax on high carbon emissions. That's the reality of the matter. Countries like India, China, we have all raised objection to this rule, but no country is exempt. Everybody will have to follow. If you want to deal with Europe, if you want to export to European Union, the message is you better reduce your carbon emissions.
Correct.
That's the message.
Yeah.
Okay, Ameya, now let me come to you. For a typical zinc consumer or producer in India today, what would be a practical hedging approach over the next 2-3 quarters? Should they be locking in prices at current levels, hedging partially, or waiting for clearer signals?
So to answer this question, first of all, waiting for clearer signals is not possible because of the volatility aspect of zinc prices. And regards to what the hedging strategy could be, it's actually very subjective on the business operations. Let's say if the
Okay.
business operates based on tender basis, it first gets a tender and then works through it. Then it would be better to hedge the entire tender linked quantity, zinc quantity, all at once. But if they work on, let's say, first purchasing the raw material, first purchasing zinc, then producing FG and then selling, then it might be better to hedge based on how they, on what, in the lots that they are buying, basically. It is basically very subjective to the businesses involved.
Yes, Mr. Chandrasekhar has to add something.
I think it is important again to
Sure.
clarify whether the hedger is a producer or a consumer. In a rising market, if the outlook for a commodity like zinc is that prices are expected to rise, obviously the producer of the commodity will not want to hedge his entire production because he's expecting the prices to rise. That the market may go the other way unexpectedly is a very different issue. But more often than not, in a rising market, producers do not hedge 100%. They hedge much less.
Okay.
Similarly, on the other hand, in a falling market, the importer or the consumer does not hedge the full quantity because why should he hedge? He's expecting the prices to fall further and further. And why should he lock in that margin. And therefore, if we expect prices to fall, then the consumer or the importer will hedge less and less. Therefore, it also depends on the market condition, the outlook for prices, and your own status, whether you're a producer or a consumer, etc. So there is no simple thumb rule for all of this. It's a complex and constantly evolving strategy for corporates, and much also depends on what is the risk appetite for these corporates. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now let me put one question to Mr. Pugzanti. In view of the Atmanirbhar campaign, is India self-reliant zinc supply-wise?
Yes, I think I mentioned this in the beginning.
Yes.
We were importing long time ago because continuous expansion by Hindustan Zinc from 2002, 1 million ton capacity now, and we are actually whatever Hindustan Zinc is producing, it's all consumed within the country. And for some market share, they do export a part of it, maybe 50,000 tons, 75,000 tons, etc. But then you also get the other one, which Ronak said, part of zinc coming in, 1 lakh, whatever, 1.5, etc., through duty free, etc. So more or less, India is well positioned. Most of the zinc is all Atmanirbhar zinc. Steel also is Atmanirbhar steel.
Atmanirbhar, everything. Yes, Chandrasekhar, you want to add something?
Our production and demand of steel is set rapidly for the next, say, 10, 15, 20 years because of our massive infrastructure and other etc. With increasing steel production and need for whether we will continue to stay self-reliant. In my mind, there is a question mark, is number one. Number two, as a nation, while we are investing in steel production, I think we are I think we need to pay increasing our production of zinc. As Puk said very rightly, we have massive quantities of ore available in our country, but we need to therefore come up with policies that will encourage exploration, that will encourage mining, and even possibly attract some foreign direct investment. I think the government of India needs to focus in these areas because steel is one commodity, but there is supplementary demand for nickel on the one side and zinc on the other side, and therefore we need to look. Nickel, for example, we are very large importers. We import from Indonesia. What are we doing to even move anywhere close to Atmanirbhar in nickel? I'm afraid I think we are not doing enough. Zinc, I would not like this country to go and become import dependent in the next 5 or 10 years, because we are talking about now 300 million tons of steel capacity by 2030. So I think this is something all of us must think about and come up with plans and strategies for the policymakers. Yeah.
Okay, now our dear friend Jairaj ji, I think
one second, Benaji.
Yes,
I did mention in my presentation 1 million ton capacity. Hindustan Zinc is planning to expand to 1.2 million ton in the next 2 or 3 years. Then they have a plan to increase it to 1.5, maybe after 5-6 years. See the way they are planning expansion, and also 2 million ton. Infrastructure increasing, steel increasing, zinc production capacity also going to increase. And they are saying ban the import. Those days are gone, Jairaj. It's free trade economy. You can't do any ban. Import, export. India can export, India can import. Korea zinc is coming here. Maybe South African zinc also will come. Our zinc will go to Europe. So it's a free trade, free economy.
Right.
So Jairaj, your question is being answered by Mr. Puk without even my putting it up. He had asked for how about ramping up production to avoid volatility, and Mr. Puk answers it well in advance. Another one question in the chat box I have from Madhvi Agarwal. Galvanizing emissions are excluded from CBAM. It's very case to case. So Puk sir, you can comment on that.
Can you repeat?
galvanizing emissions are excluded from CBAM. It's very case to case.
I think Chandru mentioned this very clearly. CBAM, their main emphasis is a carbon footprint, CO2 reduction. That is the main emphasis. Other emission, liquid discharge, etc., is a local state pollution control board regulation. They have to control. CBAM is only for carbon, carbon, carbon. Carbon-free economy.
Okay, here I will go back to Mr. Amir, getting some more information on little hedging. Does MCX have any proposal for brand approval for zinc, as in the case of lead?
So regarding this topic, we are currently under discussion for the process, similar to how lead currently is active. So we'll get back to you when it's finally confirmed and it is under discussion.
Okay. Let me put up. Yes.
With due respect to everyone, may I seek your permission to leave this meeting now?
Please.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Good luck. God bless you all.
How can Dada leave? How can Dada leave?
Last two questions we'll take. Where I think I need to get from
allotted time till 4:30. I have another meeting.
Okay,
Thank you very much. We'll catch up soon. We will catch up soon. God bless. Thank you.
Catch up soon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
One important question from BigMint which I want. Ronak, how do you foresee the zinc prices towards the fourth quarter of the year? If I don't put up this question, I think there'll be no, I won't be concluding this webinar when I talk on pricing. So at least you can give some indication.
Sure.
Yes, Ronak.
Ma'am, for quarter 4 2026, I see zinc prices remaining range bound between 2,900 to 3,300 per ton. The market faces structural challenges from ILZDA's projected deficit of 19,000 tons. Refined zinc metal production is expected to rise by 1.3% to 14 million tons, which could provide supply side support if demand growth matches pace. However, near-term support persists from low LME stock at currently recently 23rd April is 105,850 tons, plus China zinc smelter purchased in Q2 TC guidance dropping to $35 to $70 per ton from Q1 levels. Earlier it was 105 to 120 120 levels. Signally, concentrate is tightness. And February and March, LME cash averaged 3,320 and in March 30 respectively. I think this balance suggests continued volatility rather than a clear directional move to year end. I think that's.
Thank you, Rona.
Binaji, I just want to talk on this price.
Please.
Because of the Gulf War, West Asia War, the price of LPG, CNG, fuel, etc., have gone up. And our shipping charges, shipping cost has also increased with the diversion that our ships are taking. Now, whether Hindustan Zinc likes it or not, the fuel costs have gone up, the power tariff has gone up, and Hindustan Zinc will have to increase that. The cost of production will go up next few months. And Trump and Iran, they have been talking about peace, and that's nowhere in sight.
Okay, now I'll conclude one question from Ame now. Are you seeing increased participation in zinc derivatives on MCX recently? And does that itself signal rising uncertainty or better risk awareness in the market? This is going on with the current, what Mr. Pug has also said.
So yes, the participation in zinc contract over a period of time has definitely increased. And it is kind of a mix of both, where the risk awareness is also increased in the market, but because of the rising volatility as well, because of which people are looking to lock their margins and ensure that their price risk is managed. So on an overall basis, yes, the participation has definitely increased.
That will be good. Okay, now I think since we don't have much time, sir, one last question to you conclude, and with that we'll close it because we can't let you go without answering this.
God.
various zinc markets in India, where do you see the biggest opportunity? Because this is where we need to conclude with.
The biggest opportunity is very, very obvious from my pie chart. 72% zinc going in galvanizing,
Right.
and galvanizing is the bread and butter in our country. All structural galvanizers, pipe galvanizers, wire galvanizers, sheet galvanizers, nuts and bolts, many other steels fabricated items. This sector is increasing everywhere. China, India, South Africa, Brazil, Mexico. That's the trend. Some growth in batteries, die casting is there, but the largest growth will take place in the galvanizing sector, and everywhere it's happening. That's because the economic growth. That's
So
it.
here we had few questions in chat, but I think Mr. Pug has answered indirectly, and that was Mr. Jairaj's question only, that imports should be banned, I think, but he has taken up the matter on imports, so that
Yeah.
answers it. So with this, I think I hope you all enjoyed the panel interaction. Thank you so much, all of you.